guys, welcome back to Ivy Rose Knows. How is everybody this Tuesday afternoon? My day is going well, but let me ask you something. If you have children, can somebody tell me where the silverware goes? I was having dinner with my kids last night, and I had a place setting for so many because I have a lot of children. And for the life of me, I can't believe that we ran out of forks. There were not enough forks for everybody. So I don't know if you have children. Does it happen to you? Am I the only one? Guys, where does the silverware go? I know it's not true crime related, but I feel like it's a freaking true crime that, I have no idea where my silverware is, and now I'm on a hunt for silverware. So I'm off that subject now, and on to what I'm actually here to talk about, but I just figured I'd throw that in there for a second because I don't know. It's been boggling my mind. I don't know what they're doing with it. But let's talk about Nicholas Godejohn, okay? I feel like we spend so much time speaking on Gypsy that we forget about Nicholas Godejohn. Now, if you don't know who Nicholas Godejohn is, you know that he is the one that unalived Dee Dee Blanchard for Gypsy. Gypsy had manipulated him for years into unaliving or murdering her mother, okay? And I find it so sad. Now, we know that Nicholas Godejohn had some psychological issues. If you watched his interrogation, okay, we saw him hearing voices and talking to somebody that wasn't there. We know that he heard voices as a young kid. We know that he had intellectual issues, okay? So we know that Nicholas Godejohn had a lot going on, which made him vulnerable to being manipulated by Gypsy, right? Gypsy knew this was all going on. Nicholas told Gypsy about his history, about the voices, about how he felt, and he was angry inside, and his other personalities. Gypsy was aware of all of this. Gypsy used this situation to her advantage. Now, here we are. Gypsy gets a plea deal because the poor little victim, right? So, of course, she got a plea deal. A sweet one. 10 years. Out in 8.5. Nicholas Godejohn was also offered a plea deal. But he did not feel what, I think his plea deal was 30 years. And he didn't feel like that was acceptable. He felt like he was just as responsible as she, or that Gypsy was just as responsible as him. Why would he sit in prison for 30 years and then Gypsy's out in 8? So here we are now. Gypsy is out and about running this nonsense story, acting a fool out here, taking no responsibility and no accountability for what she did, for the fact that she ruined so many lives that night, okay? You got to remember, she killed her mother. Her mother is dead. Life ruined. She also made Nicholas kill her mother, convinced him, groomed him, and now he will spend the rest of his life in prison. So again, life ruined. And then you have to remember the stress on Nicholas's mother. Okay, she relapsed, so she's no longer here. This murder affected so many people and so many lives. You're talking about Nicholas and his family. You're talking about Gypsy and their entire family. Okay, you're talking about grandparents and, fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers. So many people's lives were ruined that day because of this. Now, I'm not saying that Nicholas isn't a murderer, because he is. We know this. He also knows this. He also took responsibility for what he did. He takes and admits to the responsibility of it. He takes and admits to being the one killing Dee Dee with Gypsy. He takes accountability for his actions. I do believe that he is sorry for what he did. Now, there's Gypsy. And I think where people get it wrong on how can you support Nick and not support Gypsy. Well, one, Nicholas didn't get a fair trial, in my opinion. And so that's why I support him. I support his need for a fair trial. Two, again, he takes accountability for his actions and he shows remorse. He knows what he did was wrong. He understands what he did was wrong. He knows he took a life and he's sorry for it. He stated that multiple times in many interviews. But has Gypsy? Gypsy has done nothing to take responsibility and accountability for her actions. She sits there and still acts like she is not a murderer. She's not the one who committed the crime, the actual crime. I'm not the one who actually stabbed my mother. He did. I mean, she only orchestrated the whole thing. That is why people are so angry with her. Here he is taking responsibility and being sorry for the crime he committed and spending the rest of his life in jail to pay the price. And here she is acting like it wasn't a big deal, acting like she didn't do it, wasn't me, and she doesn't have to spend the rest of her life paying that price. In fact, she gets to get out of prison and do all of the things. Nick will never have a family. Nick will never have children. Will Nick be able to get married? Will Nick be able to have a television show or work a real job? But yet she does. And so many of us are watching her, and all we're saying to her is, you need to take responsibility for all of the lives you took that day, including the life of Nicholas Godejohn. Excuse me. So now Nicholas Godejohn may not be dead. He's still alive. Again, spending his life in prison. But she did, in fact, take his life away from him that day. She did, in fact, take away his life. He will not have the ability to live life the way she is. Having a family, having a job, doing all of the things. She took his life away as well as Dee Dee's. That is why people are angry. She doesn't care. She never admitted to her fault. She's never shown remorse for any of it. For any of it. In fact, she dodges the responsibility or accountability of it. Trying to come up with excuses on how it ain't her fault. That is why people are so angry. But I do, however, respect the fact that Nicholas did. He took responsibility for it. And he shows remorse. I do believe he is in fact sorry. And I do believe, in fact, that he needs a new trial. Do I think he's going to get it? No. But do I think he deserves some kind of clemency? Absolutely. That whole trial was not fair. He got the shit's end of the stick, and she got away with it practically scot-free. So I just want to sit there and state that. You know, I appreciate the fact that Nicholas took responsibility, and I wish that one day Gypsy will too. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think she'll ever take responsibility for her actions, for taking the lives of all those people? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, I appreciate all of you for all of your comments. If you haven't subscribed to my page, please do if you like the content. I appreciate you all, and I will get back to your comments later. Tell me what you think.